May I request you all not to share your screen when the speaker is presenting his lecture.
Rajesh sir and Yogesh sir, should we begin?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
yes, Shalini, please.
Okay. A very happy Ganesh Chaturthi to each of you who have joined us today. I, Dr. Shalini Kaushik, one of the members of English for Nation and assistant professor at the Department of English, Government PG College, Guna, Madhya Pradesh Higher Education, on behalf of English for Nation, New Delhi, in collaboration with Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya BHU, welcome all the delegates and participants on day 3 of International Lecture Series from 20th August to 26th August 2020. In the last 2 days, we've had lectures on literary studies and computer and functioning and formal methods in linguistics by Dr. A.K. Mishra and Professor G.N. Jha, respectively. Our honorable speaker for the day is Professor Chandrabhushan Sharma, former chairman of NIOS Noida and currently working as a professor of education at the School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University, also known as IGNOU, New Delhi. He would be delivering his lecture on the topic COVID-19 and curriculum transaction. I would like to invite Dr. Shweta Antony, Assistant Professor at the Department of English, University of Delhi, one of the members of English for Nation, and also my professor, to introduce our speaker for the day. Over to you, Shweta ma'am.
Thank you, Shalini, for that introduction. And welcome everyone to yet another intriguing session of this lecture series organized by English for Nation in collaboration with Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya Varanasi. Uh, and it is indeed a privilege and an honor to be associated with this organization led by Dr. Yogesh Kumar Dubey. And I am humbled by the opportunity given to me today to introduce Professor Chandrabhushan Sharma. And I'm sure that I'm not the right person to do the job, because it's next to impossible to introduce Professor C.V. Sharma, because if you know about him, it's impossible to give an introduction to such a versatile personality within academia in such a short span of time. But what I'll be doing today would be to highlight certain aspects of his career uh, that that will definitely go into the insights that he is going to offer us today through this talk that is titled COVID-19 and Curriculum Transaction. There is no better resource person who could address this question because he has contributed immensely to not just open learning but also to this whole idea of pedagogy. If you know him, you know that he has been associated with IGNO for quite some time, and he has also been the chairman of National Institute of Open Schooling, and his role there has contributed immensely uh, to uh, to understanding teaching as a profession, and also has led to many programs and policies that has helped teachers across India and the world to take forward their pedagogical practices. He has uh, he has been representing India abroad, and his work with NIOS has, in a way, made him a key figure within the Commonwealth nations also. So, sir, without much ado, I welcome you to this session, and thank you so much. Thank you ever so much for agreeing to be part of this lecture series. I'm sure that you are pretty busy at this point of time, but we are humbled by your presence today, and I welcome you, sir. Please.
Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to interact with my peer group. I come from the discipline of English shifted to education. So it's like homecoming. Thank you very much, Yogesh. English for Nation and Vasant Kandya Mahavidyalaya Varanasi and all those who are participation. आप सबों को गणेश चतुर्थी की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. I believe we are talking about COVID-19 and curriculum transaction. These days, a lot of discussion is about the national education policy. So I believe I will switch over from COVID-19 curriculum transaction and what the national education policy has to offer and what we can expect in the times to come. I believe somebody's audio is on, so that is there's a humming sound. If everybody can switch off the audio, maybe you can keep your video on so that you are seen and you are visible. And I believe that is the topic of the discussion or lecture today. COVID-19 and curriculum transaction. It's not face to face. It's online. It's distance. So can I see you? Can you see me? Is that the difference? COVID-19 and after? We'll come to that. What did COVID-19 do? COVID-19 suddenly shut down the buildings. The schools were asked to shut down, universities, colleges were shut down, and all of us are locked in. But I have said on many platforms, and as a teacher educator, an activist teacher, I have said on all platforms, buildings were closed, teaching never stopped. The process of teaching, learning, I think it was disrupted only for a few days. but it was resumed very soon. So curriculum transaction, COVID-19 perhaps will not have an impact of COVID. The only thing that will change, or the platform that will see a change, would be whether we'll be teaching in a classroom or sitting at homes and teaching. As far as quality is concerned, there would be no retardation. It will perhaps improve. Let me start by saying COVID-19 and after curriculum transaction will see a lot of intervention of technology, because it has to be technology augmented, technology supported. So two things will happen and is happening. We are already experiencing. One is we'll have to become familiar with technology. That we have become. In last 3-4 months, we have all become so familiar with technology. We are all online. We can see each other. We can talk to each other, and it has become so common. So it won't be a hurdle. It's no more a hurdle. It's important that we learn technology. In the 21st century, technology will be the medium, not the classroom. If at all it has to be, it will be blended. A portion of teaching learning may take place in the classroom, will take place in the classroom. Universities and colleges and schools will not be closed, but then we had kept technology out of the teaching learning sphere. That will be center stage. Why am I saying center stage? I definitely don't intend to say that teacher is out of the picture. The teacher is more center stage. But it may not be the classroom. I will reiterate, it may not be the classroom. My peer group may not misunderstand me. Teacher will be center stage, classroom will not be center stage. Classroom will not be important, teacher will be more important. I'll give you an example that which will explain to you. When the lockdown was imposed and I was chairing the National Institute of Open Schooling, we did a lot of teaching learning through television, and my studio was closed, my teachers were at home. So what do? I asked the Ministry of Human Resource Development, I can definitely share with you, that look, my teachers are at home. We had a transponder in the studio through which we did two-way interaction. Is there any way we can do it? The ministry said, no, there's no way. We cannot do it from home. I requested my staff of the NIOS, 2-3 people, not very well known nationally. And I said, can you do it? And I told my teachers, can you sit at home and teach through Skype? Trust me, within 3 days, they did it. The teachers started teaching on Skype. The studio could carry the message. And from Vizag in Ahmedabad, we were online. The first institution to go online live was National Institute of Open Schooling. Now, the challenge was, how do we reach homes? I requested the Honorable Minister for Information and Broadcasting, can you ask the service providers, the television service providers, to make the NIOS channels compulsory channels? He was very kind. He was my previous minister. He immediately asked the Secretary INB to do it, and it was done. The first institution to be made compulsory channels was National Institute of Open Schooling. So we can definitely claim, the NIOS can definitely claim, we were the pioneers in online education, teaching, learning from homes. All this Zoom, etc. came at least 15 days after NIOS had started. Why am I narrating this? I'm narrating this. The teacher is center stage. I have been a distance educator for 35 years, 33 plus years. And we have always been told, sir, what do you want to teach? What is the message you want to reach to students? भाई ऐसा करो, ये हम दिखाना चाहते हैं. हमें आज पढ़ाना है, लेक्चर देना है, लेकिन हम चाहते हैं कि ये देखे, ये समझे. अब ये प्रोड्यूसर का काम है कि वो कैसे कराएगा. The teacher is important in the sense the teacher knows what is the content that has to be transacted. The producer, the cameraman, the editor, they will have to make arrangements that the teacher wants this to be transacted, and we have to make arrangements. COVID-19, after it was always in distance education, it will be a team teaching. But your support team will not be the content expert. You will be the content expert. I'm saying this with my, or sharing this with my peer group, so that you insist when you do this. When you are online, when you are teaching on a television, you are teaching through radio, you are teaching on community radio, whatever, be sure about what you want to reach to students. What is the content that has to be transacted? The team is to assist you. Teacher is the king. The content is the king, the teacher is the king or the queen, and you have to say what you want to reach. The technology is there to support you, and a lot of it will be online. So, fellow teachers, be ready to teach online, teach through technology, understand technology, how it communicates. It's not face-to-face. It's not classroom. You are not looking at your students. You cannot tell them, go out of the class. I wonder if you have seen all the jokes that are circulating on WhatsApp. Yes, you are not well dressed. You are only well dressed above the camera or on the camera. Your room is not ready. You are not well prepared in that sense for the class, but then you are ready content wise. You have to understand क्या कैमरे पर क्या communicate किया जा सकता है और क्या miscommunication हो सकता है, ये आपको समझना पड़ेगा. लेकिन जो चैलेंज है वो दूसरा है. जो चैलेंज है वो ये है कि when we started this online class through an iOS and we got teachers from across the country, there was a teacher from Jaipur, physics teacher, who was teaching very well. And we had a number of teachers who were teaching one by one. Everybody started demanding for this teacher who was a physics teacher from a small town. Nobody knew him before COVID-19. Everybody, all these school students, the +2 students, were so impressed, they only wanted him to teach. When we teach online, when we lecture online, the audience is not only classroom, it's open, it's being recorded, and it will be available even after you have finished. So perhaps the number of learners, the number of viewers who would be watching you, learning and scrutinizing you would be much larger. You are no more teaching in the comfort of a classroom, in isolation to 40 students or 50 students, and you can very well say, sorry, yesterday what I taught was not really correct. I went and checked the source last night. I think I'll have to correct. Please, you don't have that opportunity to do. You're going on record, you're going public, and you will be quoted, you will be scrutinized, you will be questioned on what you teach. The challenge is much larger. You have to be perfect. So competition is very tough. You may be teaching from Delhi University. I can see somebody from Mau, somebody from Madhya Pradesh, somebody from Allahabad, Varanasi, who is teaching, talking the best. You may be in a very prestigious central university, but you are not really good. Everybody would be scrutinizing you and assessing you. तो पहले जो शिकायत हो रही थी कि ये सिलेक्शंस होते कैसे हैं यूनिवर्सिटीज में, अब वो पब्लिक डोमेन में है. ये मांग पहले से होता रहा था कि इंटरव्यूज को पब्लिक किया जाए. अब ये ऑटोमेटिकली पब्लिक हो गया. अगर आप अच्छे हैं, छोटे शहर में हैं, तो आपका डिमांड बढ़ेगा, आपको लोग जानेंगे और आप अच्छे टीचर की तरह जाने जाएंगे। आप अगर बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी में अच्छी जगह में भी अच्छा पढ़ाते नहीं हैं तो आपके लिए चैलेंज बड़ा है। द टीचर्स हैव टू फेस टफ कंपटीशन इन टाइम्स टू कम एंड देयर इज नो बाउंड्री, देयर वोंट बी बाउंड्रीज। Yes, Kalyani, you are right. The challenge and the competition is tough, but the good thing is that we won't have complaints. Our lectures would be recorded. It will be on public domain. Everybody can hear everybody else, which was not available before. Two things. One, competition will be tough, so we would be working harder. And we must commit to that. As peer group, and this is a group which criticizes its own, I mean, we criticize ourselves. No other profession this is done. हम अपने एक दूसरे कॉलीग्स को क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं, लेकिन दूसरे प्रोफेशन में नहीं होता है, और यही खूबी हमारे प्रोफेशन की है। हम ये कई बार कहते हैं कल्याणी पढ़ाती नहीं है क्लास में अच्छा, कल्याणी तैयारी करके नहीं आती है। अब देखो, अगर कल्याणी पढ़ा रही है तो उसका लेक्चर रिकॉर्डेड है, पब्लिक डोमेन में है, हर कोई सुन सकता है, और ये पूछेगा कि अगर कल्याणी सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं है, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी डिपार्टमेंट में नहीं है, तो क्यों नहीं है? तो कंपटीशन टफ हुआ है, लेकिन मार्केट मेरा बहुत बड़ा हुआ है, मेरा टीचिंग कम्युनिटी बहुत बड़ी हुई है, और हमको अब हर कोई सुन सकता है, तो हम दुनिया में कहीं भी पढ़ा सकते हैं। अमेरिका के स्टूडेंट्स हो सकते हैं, केरला से स्टूडेंट हो सकते हैं, पूरे देश से होगा। तो फ्रेंड्स, peer group, fellow teachers, these are the challenges that COVID-19 and after is going to bring to us, which I have been saying on another platform. I will repeat, as a distance educator, we have been saying that A.W. Bates wrote in 1980s, early 80s, and he said in the 21st century, the best known faces would be of the teachers, because they would be more visible on the television screen than anybody else, more than the matinee idols. They would also be earning more than others, and they would be the highest taxpayers. I have said on many platforms, I am repeating, I believe this is a group of English teachers, and you must know this. We are likely to be the best known faces on television, because we all want our children to be educated by the best teachers. And if we are the best, we would be known across the country, and not only country, globally. At the moment, we are lecturing free of cost. Very soon we are going to charge, and the best of teachers, the best of faces, the best of lecturers would be charging exorbitantly, and they would definitely be the richest. What A.W. Bates said is going to come true. So competition is tough, but the reward is also higher. Be ready. Competition will be tough, but then content will be a challenge. Content has been very important in education, which we did not really take very seriously. Look at the curriculum of different universities, even school curriculum. What are our children learning? Reading the text. क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या पढ़ा रहे हैं? अब आप अपना करिकुलम छोटे से एरिया में नहीं कर सकते हैं। आपका करिकुलम रियल सेंस में ग्लोबल होना होगा। आप केरला के लिए करिकुलम नहीं बना सकते हैं, आप भारत के लिए करिकुलम नहीं बना सकते हैं, आपको दुनिया के लिए करिकुलम बनाना होगा, क्योंकि दो डेवलपमेंट है। We have signed the General Agreement on Trade and Services. I think you are aware. If not, please read it. India is a signatory to the GATS. And GATS says that no country can do trade with another country if you don't open your market to other countries. As an educationist, I'm more of an education discipline now than English, I must confess. Education is big money. Similarly, English teaching is big money. Hindi teaching now is a big money. Now, if you don't open your market of education to other countries, you will not be able to trade for steel, for textile, for food grain, for other things with other countries. So automatically your education sector gets opened. That means foreign universities, foreign agencies can come to India and establish their institutions. The rules are global, and that is why the General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, GATT, was converted into GATS, General Agreement on Trade and Services, so that education can be brought within the ambit of services. At that point of time, we had shouted against it, but we did not succeed. Education was brought. Why? Why is it important? We are the largest population after China, and we are soon going to cross China. So where is the market? Market for education as well. India. And if, remember 80s, what I said about A.W. Bates, look at the larger scenario. Computers had come in the West, 1995, it came to India. Same time you had great expansion of television, 1982, the Asian Games, and after. So television expanded, computer expanded, online transactions started taking place. We had email 1994 and 95 in India. So India was a very viable market. I'm talking about this. You must take care that you cannot look at curriculum and transaction in isolation only in India. You have to look at it in a global scenario. And in that phase, the general agreement, the WTO comes and says, we are going to make education after the Paraguay rounds. We were going to make education a service, and this will be under the general agreement, trade and services. Now, in the light of what I have said, look at yourself as a teacher of English. Forget about smaller towns. Even if you are in Delhi, you have to compete with teachers teaching in Oxford and Cambridge. If I am given that option to take a BA Honours degree from Oxford or Delhi University, and my teachers are available online, who would I prefer? First, I'll go and examine, look at some of their lectures, and then say, okay, I would take my degree from Delhi University. They have the best teachers. And same time, the pressure is on opening your market to other teachers, other institutions. So, curriculum transaction, including curriculum itself, what you are teaching, is no more a private business of a country or a university. Let me quickly reflect on our own scenario. We have a system of autonomous colleges. We give them autonomy and let them design, develop their own curriculum. They have their own board of studies, what a university has. A mini university, and that's what the new policy says, that we'll give autonomy to colleges. Universities will be free to really work in research and specialized teaching. But I have gone and seen many of such autonomous colleges. The board of studies comprises of 2-3 teachers of the same college and a couple of teachers from the neighboring college, perhaps only 50 kilometers radius, and they decide everything. Such a shabby curriculum. I must say, absolutely no revision for years, just a minor facelift, cosmetic changes, nothing else. Who will study from you? If you are a college in Basti, not revising your curriculum, do not have the competencies to revise, how would you survive in the present day market post-COVID-19? When everybody has learned to be online, to be talking on face-to-face, what we had been struggling to do through distance mode for at least 3 decades. So, friends, to make you understand this whole thing. At least for the teachers of English, this is not your language. You perhaps will not be the best in the world as English teachers because this is not your first language. You are not very familiar with the language and the literature including. Challenge is massive for you. Hindi. People from Tamil Nadu shout so much against Hindi. Would you be surprised if I tell you that Hindi teaching to Tamilians from outside Tamil Nadu is a big business? A large number of school teachers from Delhi, Hindi teachers, are earning millions teaching Hindi to students from Tamil Nadu online. Yogesh, true, Kalyani and Janmejai. I can't understand this relationship between Kalyani and Janmejai.
Yeah, both were fair in their ideas about your excellency of this lecture. Sorry to intervene.
Okay, fine. Good. I mean, some of the comments I've been able to read, but okay. Okay, Janmejai Tiwari, yes, Kalyani, you are absolutely right. Fine, they must be rating something which I'm not. Kalyani says absolutely it is a phenomenal opening up to the field. We as a community must consistently improve and upgrade ourselves. That is a must for academics. But that's not the really topic about our professional development, lifelong education and all that. So I won't go into that. But I will only concentrate on the challenges to teachers today and the rewards that are likely to come to teachers, COVID-19 after, and how will curriculum affect it. So schools, colleges, universities which do not revise their curriculum continuously would be eliminated. I must say. The new national education policy says we will be giving more autonomy to the colleges, let them decide about their curriculum, but then don't forget with this will come the challenge of attracting students, because read 26.2 or 3 perhaps section which says you will have to generate your funds as well. You will have to generate your funds as well. So with this autonomy or this freedom, I won't say autonomy is a difficult word. Read Radhakrishnan Commission report that clearly defines, and read the CABE report. It's behind my camera, so I cannot pull it out now. Read, that has autonomy, but this has nothing to do with autonomy as such. With this, the challenge will come of being at the cutting edge. But one more thing that I would like to say, I think when we say technology, we always think it's only computer, and that we are facing in education. It's tough time explaining to everyone who is in the business of now implementing the national education policy. Technology definitely doesn't mean only computer and online. Radio in the recorded mode, in the live mode. Broadcast. Similarly, community radio. Become familiar with these technology if you are not already. Television. How do we speak? How do we record? How do we interact? And there is a plethora of literature on this. It has been researched so well, not in India, but abroad. We have done more exercise, more experiment with different technologies, but not the real pedagogy of online education or teaching through technology. मैं बड़े संगीन चीज की तरफ आपका ध्यान आकर्षित कर रहा हूं. I hope most of my viewers understand Hindi. I don't have any comment which says हिंदी में मत बोलिए सर, क्योंकि ऐसा कई बार हो रहा है. तो मैं एक बड़े संगीन चीज की तरफ आपका ध्यान दिला रहा हूं. हम जब टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करते हैं तो केवल ऑनलाइन टेक्नोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हैं. ये गलत है. कुछ चीजें बेहतर समझाई जा सकती हैं, सुनाई जा सकती हैं, पढ़ाई जा सकती हैं रेडियो से. मेरी एक टीचर पढ़ा रही थी, ये जिस टेक्नोलॉजी की हमने चर्चा की, वो मेरी टीचर पढ़ा रही थी और मैं उसका लेक्चर देख रहा था घर से. जैसे ही लेक्चर उसने खत्म किया, मैंने उसको फोन किया और कहा कि अजमत नाम था, कोई परेशानी नहीं है नाम लेने पर, इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर भी अजमत नूरी। अजमत को कहा हमने कि अजमत ऐसा करो कि तुम्हारा लेक्चर रिकॉर्डेड है, अब अवेलेबल है, अपने स्क्रीन पर पर्दा डाल दो और किसी को भी कहो सुनने। तुम जो वीडियो टेक्नोलॉजी था उसको बिल्कुल इस्तेमाल नहीं किए। अगर इसी पूरे लेक्चर को तुम्हारे हम ऑडियो में रिकॉर्ड करते तो कैसा होता। और आप सबको, अभी करीब करीब 73 लोग जुड़े हैं, आप सबको मैं एक एक्सरसाइज दूं, ऐसा तो नहीं कह सकता हूं, एक सलाह देता हूं। एक कहानी रिकॉर्ड करो अपने एरिया का, जहां से भी हो। एक दादी की, नानी की, किसी से कहानी सुने होगे, उस कहानी को रिकॉर्ड करो अपने मोबाइल पर, जो तुमको लगता है कि दूसरे लोग नहीं जानते होंगे, नहीं सुने होंगे, और उसको मोबाइल पर भेज दो 10, 20, 50 लोगों को और बोलो उनको कि बताएं कि आपको कैसी लगी मेरी कहानी। आप कई रेडियो प्रोग्राम याद करके सुनते हैं, वो एंकर जो है, वो रेडियो जॉकी जो है, बहुत अच्छा नैरेटिव है, नैरेटर है। कई चीजें आपकी हैं। मैंने अभी कई बार ये बात विद्यालय शिक्षा में कहा है, कक्षा 1, 2, 3 का बच्चा क्या पढ़ाइएगा, उसको कहानियां सुनाइए। हम बड़े परेशान हैं इस देश में करिकुलम को लेकर के कि हमारी जो संपदा थी, हमारा वांग्मय था, वो खो गया। उसको अगर आप भारत की कहानियां सुनाए, और जगह जगह से तमिलनाडु की कहानी, केरल की कहानी, ये लोकल कहानियां, तो उन कहानियों को अगर ऑडियो में रिकॉर्ड करके भेजें तो कैसा रहेगा। आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू, record audio programs and send to your students. Perhaps a lot of content, at least half of your content that you have to transact, you would be able to record on audio. You don't require video, you don't require online computer. Research survey says that we have about 70% of our student population which has access to computer and online technologies. Rest do not have, 30% do not have. Now, how possible it is to reach out to 100% through your audio? And what is that content, that portion of the content, the curriculum, which can be reached through audio? Why not use it? And perhaps you don't need to do that in your class. आप सबको पता होगा कि okay, Sebastian Pushpa Nathan. I thought that everybody would be understanding English, Hindi, both. So perhaps, but I believe Sebastian, I more or less you would be able to make out. So from time to time, right? So use all these technologies. And if you are in an institution which has autonomy, you revise your curriculum to make it global. Post COVID-19, the challenge is going to be that you would not be teaching only to your own audience, to your local audience. You will be teaching to global audience first, and second is your competition is global. Third is there is a big market. Why not grab it? Fourth is we'll have to become familiar with technology. So the challenge is we cannot devote all our time to our own discipline. Remember, I've been doing it for 30 years more, and I did my research on technology, and we have not been able to answer this question. If I devote my time to understanding television, online education, and online communication, would I not be lagging behind with my peer group, which is devoting all time to the discipline? That will always be a challenge with you, because if you want to be global teacher, you have to use technology. For that, you need to understand technology. This dichotomy will always be there. So what I will say, post COVID-19, we have to face this challenge. The national education policy has come, and it says that we will have to. I don't agree when we say we'll give you graded autonomy. Autonomy is the backbone of education and academic institutions. I don't like the term graded autonomy. by default institutions must be autonomous. किसी एक यूनिवर्सिटी में कोई एक बेवकूफ पागल ऐसे नारे लगाता है और पूरे देश परेशान होता है, इसकी जरूरत नहीं थी। राधाकृष्णन कमीशन का रिपोर्ट उठाइए, बहुत बढ़िया से राधाकृष्णन ने ऑटोनॉमी को समझाया है। ऑटोनॉमी अबाउट डिसाइडिंग व्हाट टू टीच, डिसाइडिंग हाउ टू टीच, डिसाइडिंग हु टू टीच, not about doing subversive activities on campus. That's not autonomy, that's law and order. हम क्या पढ़ाएंगे, करिकुलम तय करना, कैसे पढ़ाएंगे ये तय करना, और किसको पढ़ाएंगे, selection of a student. I'll give you an example as an educationist. This is not my own argument. I have read it and I have been quoting it on many platforms. You go to buy a refrigerator and you tell the shopkeeper, भाई मुझे लाल तो चाहिए था लेकिन थोड़ा कत्थई की तरफ. I want a red television, fridge. The color should be red, but not exactly blood red. I want something towards maroon. And that fellow tries, goes and brings many colors, shows you. And then you finally say, no, I'm not interested. Selling in education is opposite. You come to me and say, sir, आपके अंदर में PhD करना चाहते हैं. You have the money. You are inclined. But I ask you, what have you done? Which books have you read? Okay, write a page and show me. And then I say, no. अगले साल आना, इस साल सीट नहीं है मेरे पास. Here, the seller is the king. तो एजुकेशन में आप ये मत समझिए कि पैसा होगा तो आप कहीं भी पढ़ेंगे. मैंने मार्केट की बात की. I talked about education becoming a market, but then don't think it will be a monopoly market always. We all would not be able to get admission to the best of institutions. So it will always be a monopoly market of the teachers who decide and who admit. You have to be good. So don't go by the fact that if your institution is good, you will be able to attract more. If your curriculum is not good, if your institution is not well known, you will not be able to get the best students. और आने वाले समय में हमको लगता है कि ये face to face as well as online होगा, तो आपको दोनों से पढ़ाने की आदत होनी होगी, जानना होगा. Curriculum, what we have been talking about, and you will hear a lot of more discussion in the coming times. हमारा curriculum Indian क्यों, भारतीय क्यों नहीं हुआ? Because we have devoted this discussion only to curriculum. I'll take this aspect in the next 5-10 minutes, and then I will invite questions if you have any. Why could our curriculum not really become Bharatiya? Am I talking of something which you are aware of? What did you read in class 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Did you read of Indian authors? Did you read portions of Panini? Were you introduced to the grammar that Panini had written, the structure, how to study a language? We have been saying all along कि अमेरिका में पाणिनि के डिपार्टमेंट, संस्कृत के डिपार्टमेंट ज्यादा है भारत से. Why is America studying Panini so much and not India? Was there a design? See, 2-3 things again I will say about this. Education in India has always been supported by the society. Samaj poshit tha shiksha. The amount of money which exchanges hand in education is more than any other sector. Health, real estate, any other, defense. I'm not talking of only government budget. I'm not talking of only government budget. I'm talking of the total money transacted in education in larger. So perhaps you can have a larger portion of that cake. So You have to understand who will spend. Macaulay made it a government sector because he did not want people-supported education. We destroyed that. In times to come, perhaps private parties, philanthropists will be entering the market more. I believe most of you are from English discipline, so I will not delve more on that. The intention behind doing this was that the government should take control of education. Collect tax, pay to the teachers. Now, what happens if we say society will pay to the teacher? The direct control on the teacher will be of the society. Here we are not accountable to the society. Here we are accountable to the government. We need to change perhaps that. तो क्या होगा? करिकुलम भी वैसा ही होना होगा. हमारा बच्चा क्या पढ़ रहा है, इसको पढ़ के क्या बनेगा वो? There are reports on it. Don't think that only we ask who have been to the college and university such questions. Even the poorest of the poor knows that what is my child learning? So post COVID-19, if education is dependent on technology augmented, it will be more expensive as well. Janmejay Tiwari, even I have reservations about Department of English or English department. Let us see, we'll have more things coming in, just as we have changed the name from Ministry of Human Resource Development to Ministry of Education. I believe you all have studied a bit of linguistics and language, and you would understand the impact of what is the impact on a human being when you are said that you are a human resource which the nation needs to exploit, and that is why the human resource development, or you are a source of knowledge and through knowledge we get salvation, then all the difference. So perhaps English department of English. Rajesh Verma, regional boards have some native influences, especially in Uttar Pradesh board, but it was not purely regional. No, see, I believe regional content will have a say, but content will not be national only in times to come, because markets have been opened, and it was open long time back after the GATS agreement, but then there was no way you could study. Very selected people had access to online education abroad, but now it has become common after the COVID-19. So market will change, the processor will change, the pedagogy will change post COVID-19. We have to be ready. Colonial hangover is persistent in our curriculum. Yes, that we must take care of. And what I was trying to share was, are we defensive about our curriculum, our own knowledge system? Are we defensive? क्या भारद्वाज ने सही में एरोनॉटिक्स का साइंस दिया था या नहीं दिया था? क्या पाणिनि ने सही में एक ऐसा ग्रामर लिखा था, एक ऐसी किताब लिखी थी जो आज तक दुनिया लोहा मानती है? तो पाणिनि अमेरिका में लोग पढ़ते हैं, इंडिया में नहीं पढ़ते हैं. Are we defensive? Or is there a design? Curriculum is a very sensitive thing. What we teach to children. Do we teach them to be nationalists? And I may be questioned on the whole idea of being a nationalist, but then we need to take that question frontal. I will finish by giving this example. In the British textbooks, it is reiterated again and again and said that, look, we could not continue with ruling India for longer because we had to face the World War and our economy was in bad shape. We could not spend on India. So 1947, we came out of India. Is that true? Is that correct? Similarly, in the textbook of Pakistan, there is absolutely no reference of Gandhi. Who was more important? Who had more contribution, Jinnah or Gandhi? So Pakistan only studies Jinnah as the one who got freedom to India and Pakistan. Perhaps similar thing is true about Indian textbook. We have perhaps not read anything about Jinnah. We only read about Gandhi and his contributions. Now you can understand the importance of curriculum and what we teach to children. Our children grow up understanding, learning that Gandhi got us freedom. Pakistani children grow up understanding or learning that Jinnah got us freedom. British children grow up learning that we came out of India because we could not sustain that country for longer. We did not have the money to maintain those people who were great, poor and in bad shape. I had an opportunity to stay in England for some time, and when I was about to leave, I invited my friends for dinner, and one of them told, "I'm really feeling sorry about you." We had a television in our room, and that was playing. "You will miss television, na?" He told me. "When you go back to India, you will miss television." I said, "What are you saying?" I said, Barry was his name. "Barry, you have 4 channels. In India, we have about 40 channels. Then we had it." "Really? You have television in India? I'll have to come and see." Curriculum is important because our people, our children know what we teach them. We need to revise our curriculum. We need to make our curriculum up to date and challenging. So, fellow teachers, colleagues, there are challenges before you. One is, where do you teach and do you want autonomy? If you get autonomy after National Education Policy 2020, how are you going to revamp your curriculum? Would it be a ghetto curriculum where you will have only people from local colleges revising your curriculum, or you will like to compete with Delhi University? Would you like to compete with Oxford? Would you like to look at their curriculum and revise our curriculum? 1, 2, would you be happy teaching only to those who are around you? Or would you like to take the challenge of teaching online and telling the world, "Yes, I'm here, I have arrived. Accept me or reject me"? Because if you are rejected, you are out of the scene. Only about 5 or 10% of those who are really good will be on high demand globally. And third would be, if you take the challenge, you'll have to work harder and perhaps you'll conquer the world. I believe COVID-19 and curriculum transaction is a very, very challenging issue before us, not only from the perspective of designing and developing curriculum, but also from the perspective of transacting curriculum and how teachers cope with it and take the challenge. My good luck, all the best wishes, because we have played our innings. And my age group are here on the scene only for a few years. You have to take the challenge. We could manage. आप नहीं manage कर पाएंगे क्योंकि technology has arrived and curriculum transaction post COVID-19 will be a great, great challenge. All my best wishes to you. Good luck. I will read out some of the questions now, but if you have more questions, keep writing so that I can take it. I have about 5-7 minutes more. Sapna Kumari, sir, you spoke generously about the need for readjustment and upgradation in teaching fraternity. But, sir, would you please share your views on the issues of inaccessibility of this mode among the students who come from various backgrounds and disabilities? As teachers, how can we make sure that dissemination of knowledge continues to reach out to every student under the curriculum, since not all teachers are trained alike in all the technologies, audiovisual aids? Very good question, Sapna. I would say where there is a will, there is a way. A small story. When I was the chairman of the NIOS, I started the sign language section complete. I said to my colleagues in NIOS, record your lectures in sign language and make it available to the hearing impaired. You have about 2 crore people who are hearing impaired. That said, definitely about 50 lakh school age. They don't have any content for them. It's such a popular thing now. You can hear Nirmala Sitharaman, who spoke in her budget that we will be giving money for this sector. We have not explored many areas, so many areas are wide open. Explore some of them. Do something for the learning disability. Do something for the mental retardation, autistic children, and perhaps you would be able to do that. Technology, as far as it is concerned, I believe the cost is the question at the moment. But if we cut some of the cost of infrastructure, we can give some machines to the children, to the teachers. I can tell you, there is no dearth of fund. I won't like to raise that issue on this platform right away. There is no dearth of money. India has been the only country which launched a whole satellite for education. No country can manage that. We did it because we have the demographic dividend. We have such large number of students, we could do that. We did not use it. We for the 1,000+ crores of the cost of that satellite, we used only 5% of the capability. So I'm answering Sapna, I believe. I've lost your question, but anyway, we have no dearth of money. Take it from me, we are a rich nation as far as education is concerned. The only thing is we must use it very intelligently. Thank you for that question. Meenakshi Ramchandran, sir, the teacher orientation program under the best trainers of the world, just as this one. See, what I would say is that we have the best students. How is it that those who leave their place come to Delhi outshine others? Locals, and those from India who go out outshine others. Go to any university. I have done this survey. Go to any university and you will find those students who are the best in that university are from India or some third world country. We are very hard working. So our education is good, the opportunities are not good. Give us the responsibility. I have been saying that. Give us, the teachers, the responsibility, and we'll do it. Let the classroom teacher be autonomous. Let the principal of the college be autonomous. Let the school teacher, the classroom teacher be autonomous. Let the school principal be autonomous. Our school teacher principals are in bad shape. Make schools more respectable and you will see the change. So I don't think it's a question of training. We are well trained, just that our nation doesn't rely on us more. Yes, when the NEP, we have heard that all the vernacular language will get a boost like never before. Could you please elaborate upon that? Personally, I have always been opposed to the unrealistic elitism of English. See, we have been saying 3-language formula. Go to previous policy documents. I believe in the year 1882, Hunter Commission was established by the British government, and Hunter Commission said, 1882, British government, they said primary education must be in the local language. Children after that must learn the federal language, and ultimately they must also learn an international within quote English. We have not been able to do it. It's important that all children get education in mother tongue, and I believe so much of discussion is taking place. Perhaps some good thing will come, some primary, lower primary textbooks. And now that we are bringing in children from 3 years or above to the colleges, to the schools and foundational school, that what we are calling foundational stage, perhaps this will happen, Kalyani. And Sapna, I think I have answered your question. Pushpita, it was a pleasure hearing you. Thank you so much, Pushpita. Beena Singh, very enlightening and optimistic and inspiring presentation regarding the challenge before teachers. Thank you so much, Beena Singh ji. I think these are the questions.
Sir, there is one more question which says CBSE has changed the policy of teaching students. Will this policy give the better space to students?
CBSE has not taken a policy decision not to teach students. What do you mean by that?
So that's a question by Miss Poonam. I'm just reading it.
I will tell you what CBSE has changed is, previously we had very tight compartmentalization of subject selection. If you took physics, chemistry, you had to take mathematics or biology. If you took political science and economics, you could not take dancing. Now you can combine physics with carpentry and rock climbing or sports. It has been made completely free, at least theoretically. National Institute of Open Schooling practices that, and for more than 10 years now. You can choose any subject. How would it be my concern if you decide to take physics, dancing, and agriculture? It's your choice. So I believe that CBSE has again copied. Plus, evaluation will be more relaxed. Students would be evaluated as per their convenience. So all that pressure will go. That will perhaps lead to closing of coaching centers. We need to wait and watch, because good things have been said in this policy document. How will it be implemented? How we are going to do it? You'll have to wait and watch. But then at least the intention is good. And what I believe, when we say intention, I must also repeat at the same time, there's nothing new in the policy that has been said for the first time. Go to Hunter Commission, Radhakrishnan Commission, Secondary Education Commission, 86, 68, everything has been said. This time it says clearly, we'll do it by 2040. 2040 will come back, review, and we'll come up with a new policy. Very determined policy. So things will change. Thank you all very much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. You beautifully pointed out the role of teacher and the curriculum content over classroom. And, all of us could be so connected to you despite the fact that you've been a distant educator. But the fact that we are so connected to you, you don't seem like a distant educator to any of us right now. So thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time. And it seems like we have been blessed by Lord Ganesha, the patron of arts and science, on this auspicious day through your lecture. So thank you, sir, for taking out time for this platform. And I hope you've already read the comments and appreciation that you've got in our chat box. So I would like to invite Dr. Rajesh Verma, Assistant Professor at the Department of English, Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya, and a member of English for Nation, for the vote of thanks. Over to you, Dr. Rajesh.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So yes, we had a very great session today, and yes, sir, it was wonderful listening to you. Thank you for a highly intellectual demonstration this afternoon. You have provided us number of ideas to think and to incorporate in online education mode. You told us that 20th century is the century of teachers, and now they must prepare themselves to upgrade to the present day needs. So thank you, sir, for bringing these issues in your lecture. Further, I express my heartfelt thanks to the principal of Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Professor Rachana Srivastava, and the Honorary Director of English for Nation, Dr. Yogesh Kumar Dubey, for making this lecture happen. Dr. Yogesh Dubey has been the brain behind organizing this lecture, for which we thank him. I would like to thank the respected conveners, Dr. Beena Singh and Dr. Nidhi Vats, who have blessed us with their presence. I also would like to thank technical assistant, Mr. Chandrakant, who has facilitated the online feed. So thank you to all the members present here. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Thank you once again, Professor Sharma. Thank you to each of you who've been part of today's lecture. We hope to see you on 24th of August now, which is the day after tomorrow, for another enriching lecture only on English for Nation in collaboration with Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya. Have a great day ahead.